Hi everybody, my name is Amber Gagliardi and I'm here with another take and make for you. This take and make we have is our wood bead garland that looks like this. So I've been seeing these in the stores a lot. They're used to put on shelves or a dish or, to decorate. So this is like a little less than 30 inches here, maybe a little bit more with the tassels. So I'm going to show you how to make this. So first, let's start with in your kit and what you are going to need to gather before getting started. Okay, so in your kit, you should have got this wood postcard. This is going to be for measuring. You got some embroidery floss. I gave you black, so that is in there as well. You got a whole one, so you'll have extras. You got 30 wood beads. These are plain, but if you want to paint them, you can certainly do that. Or you can just go for this natural look here. And then you got this jute cord. So we gave you a whole roll unopened, so you'll have plenty of that left over if you decide you want to make more of these. So that's what came in with your kit. You'll probably need a ruler unless you just kind of want to eye it out and cut it, which you can certainly do because you have plenty of cord. You'll need scissors. You will need tape. So I have some tape here. And if you decide you want to paint, you'll need paint and paint brushes. So I just did a natural look. This will actually look good in my house, just this color, but you can certainly paint these and add a pop of color. So to do that, obviously you could just, get like a plastic tablecloth or just be neat about it and paint them, or you could balance it over like a shoebox and put it on some of the cord and kind of spin it around because sometimes it's hard to get the whole bead. If you don't want to use paint, you could always add embellishments with Sharpies or something like that. So there's a lot of creativity here. You can do it as simple. This project will only probably take you about, half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I am going to show you how to make a tassel as well, which is kind of fun, but definitely will not be that time consuming. So you could certainly take the time to decorate if you'd like. So to get started, you're going to get your cord out here. So you can go ahead and do that. And I already got started just so you don't have to sit here and watch me do 30 of these beads. But what you're going to want to do is you could get a needle if you have one. This jute cord is a little bit bigger, so you'd probably need a pretty large needle. So what I did is I just taped the end, and that was fine too. It was a little bit easier than having to string it up. So you just take the end, wrap some tape around it, creates a nice little edge, as you'll see, just so you're not, so it won't fray on you. So that's what I did. And I started just by stringing some of the beads. On the directions, I tell you to measure 36 inches, which will be plenty. You could, always cut it off after. So if you like to do that, just use a ruler and do that. Or you could just kind of eye it out. I had my piece long enough where I didn't knot it at the end. I'm going to do that after. So I'm just leaving it on the table. And then you can knot it after. If you want to go ahead and knot the end before you put the bead on, if you feel like you're going to be doing this, you could, if it'll fall off, you could do that as well. So you just go ahead and string them on. These are pretty large beads, so they're pretty easy to string, even with this thicker cord that I gave you. And you just go ahead and put them on. So I gave you 30. That's a pretty good size. And it makes, this is 30 here, so good enough to go on a dish, on a shelf, that sort of thing. If you have extra beads you want to add, you could certainly do that. These beads come in all sorts of colors, so if you want a longer one, you could always go to the store and add different beads. You could do smaller ones, short, or smaller or bigger, whatever you want. So there's a lot of flexibility there. So go ahead and do that. So you just put them on like this. If you decide you wanted it shorter, you could do that. Whatever. just go ahead and string these on. I'm sure you've done this before, putting beads on to cord. It's relatively simple. Okay, so here's a good amount. So I have all my beads on, and what you'll want to do is just knot the end when you're done. You can leave a little bit of extra because you'll have to tie your tassel on. So just leave yourself some room to do that, and then you could always trim after, so don't cut it too short. You could double knot it. I'm going to double knot it because again, these holes are bigger, which is nice because it's easy to string, but then without double knotting it, it could fall off. So just do it tight, tie it, and then do it nice and tight, and then that'll be good. And then you'll have your tassel on too, so that'll also stop it from moving. So I'll go ahead and tie both ends and leave myself plenty of extra to cut it exactly how I need it. So there it is. Okay, so next, I'm gonna show you how to make a tassel. So this is a lot of fun, and you could definitely use it for other projects as well. So on these ones, you can see that I just did it with just the cord, the jute cord. So I used, it's the same technique, and it'll give you this kind of look. Or you can see for these ones, I use the embroidery floss. So it's, you see it adds like a little bit of color. So I gave you black because they'll kind of match anything, but you could definitely do like a color that would match your decor in your house. So if you don't like the black, which is certainly neutral, you could always use a different color. So keep that in mind. You could always practice with the black too, because it may take you a couple times before you perfect the tassel, so you can certainly do that. So you're gonna use this to measure, which is really nice. A lot of the videos that I saw, they used a book or they used something and they were kind of big, but I found this is the perfect size. So this will give you, you know, like this size tassel, which is perfect for 30 beads. So, okay, go ahead and grab this. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna use this to measure. You hold your thumb here and you're gonna wrap this around 7 times. So you just go 1, 7 or 8. If you want it to be fuller, you could do more. I tried it with a couple different times around, and I thought 7 and 8 looked the best. Just wasn't as big. And again, this cord is a little bit thicker, as I mentioned before, so just kind of looks too big if you do it too many times. So, okay, this is 8 times around, and then you will have 2 ends. So you'll have the one at the beginning and the one that you do here. So you do it just like that, and then you can lay this down like that. And then you're gonna cut another piece, and you take the single piece you just cut. this is like 12 inches. So that's kind of what you're going for. You could do a little bit more and it could be part of the tassel. So I did 12 inch. It's like, maybe it's 14, 16. So that works well. And you stick it in the middle like this. See that? Okay. And then you are going to pull up like this. Okay, then I hold them all together, and I am just going to slide this off, and then I'm gonna tie it. So I'm gonna take all those that are up at the top, so I have them all, and I'm gonna tie a knot, just a basic knot, nothing fancy, and then tie it nice and tight. You can move some things around. I'm doing nothing crazy here, just tying a knot and kind of just making sure everything looks good. And there's no crazy way of doing this. And all these are going to become part of the tassel on the bottom. So here. And then you could just make sure it's nice and tight. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take all the strings here and tape it. So just kind of pull them all together. And this will kind of just keep it nice, and it'll give you an even cut, which is good with the tassel. So I'm just tying it here, just some clear tape, basic tape. You'll be taking this off and it's gonna hold it together. Okay, and now that you have it all together, I'm gonna show you how to do this part. So everything's together, and you are going to take your embroidery floss. I'm gonna put it over this just so you can see, since this is black too, and my tablecloth is black. Okay, and see how I have it facing, I have my end of my tassel facing my left, and I'm just gonna do the start of my other side the opposite way. So the end string is pointing the opposite way as your tassel. And you're gonna make a little loop, okay, like this. And you're going to start here. So just enough to like where you're gonna get it to stop. And you're gonna start, do this a little bit longer. And you're gonna wrap it around. So you're not gonna wanna overlap, just keep it going. I'm just doing it nice and tight right next to them. I'm not overlapping because I'm looking for a nice clean look here. And then when you get to as much as you want, cut your string, or your floss, excuse me, and you're gonna put this in the loop. So the loop that you created, you're gonna put it in, and then you're gonna pull the string that went in your loop and the end that you left here. And that's gonna create a nice underneath knot that's not gonna be visible. So you just go and pull that tight, and it's really super tight. It looks good because you don't have anything overlapping. You're not seeing the knot because it's underneath. And then you go ahead and trim both ends. Just like that. Okay, I did this a little tight. I should have gave myself a little bit more room here, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick my scissors in, and that's gonna still give me enough room to put my other side in. But if I started a little bit more down, it would have been good. Okay, and then next you just trim the end of your tassel here. I'm gonna do it just above the tape, and it creates a nice straight even tassel for you. So see, if I should have started this a little bit down so I had more of a loop here like I did on this one. So I just started it like, let me give you a measurement, 1 inch down. So do that, and then this one I didn't do that. So put 1 inch down. Okay. So then you take, some of the tassels that you made. You might have to do it a couple times to practice. And then when you get 2 even ones, like this one, these 2 are even. If I cut this one, I can make it even. So you have plenty floss, and you have plenty cord to make a couple and see which ones that you like. And when you have 2 that you like, this is how you attach it. So you have this, and I left extra on my garland. So then you're gonna go ahead and put the end in, and you could just, this one's big enough where I could just stick it in, or again, you could use the end of your scissors to kind of nudge it along. And what I do is I give myself enough room to create like a loop like this. You see how I did that? So if you do it too tight, it's gonna be like lopsided, and you don't want it to look like that. So give yourself a little bit of extra cord there, and then you're gonna tie another knot. So a lot of knot tying in this project. And you could, if you leave the tape on, which I could just put a piece of tape on this one, just so it's a little bit easier. Not really necessary. I could have tucked it in, but why not? So it doesn't fray and get all messy. So I just rolled that in. And then I'm gonna stick it in just, again, a basic knot. Nothing crazy. And you just stick it in like that and knot it up. Gave myself a little room so the tassel moves to the end, like I mentioned before. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. Just double knot it. I don't want my beads to fall off. I don't want my tassel to fall off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again. And then just kind of tuck it in there. Okay, just like that. Okay, let's put on the other end. So same thing, I already have this on the end of this one, so I'll keep that on until I trim it. Stick it in. Leave yourself a little bit of slack, so then you could, you know, create that effect that it's on the end. And you're going to then take your end that has a nice piece of tape on it, nice and easy to just stick through. Just sticking it through and making a knot. So nothing crazy. You just, again, want to take the time to make sure it's tight so nothing falls off. Okay. And then you trim that. So there it is. Everything's nice and tight. My tassels are nice and even. You could always trim now or whenever. Like, you could always trim things if they don't look perfect. And this one's a little bit smaller. I didn't use all 30 beads, but you can see this is with 30 beads. And then this is smaller. So essentially you could make two with like 15 on it or whatever if you wanted two smaller ones. But these wooden beads are pretty popular right now. You can find them anywhere. So again, if you wanted to put different sizes and stuff, you could. So if you do anything different and you wanted to share it with me, go ahead and email me. My email is gagliardiamber@mcpllibrary.org. You can find my email on the directions that you got in your kit. So you could always just share what you did, if you painted it or did any different colors or did any different techniques. You could send it to me, and you know, if you want, I could always share them on social media, or if you do a project that comes out really nice, you might find yourself in the quarterly at some point. Unless you're camera shy, then you can just send it to me and say, you know, just for me to see, or not, whatever you think. I hope you enjoyed this project. Hopefully I'll see you at an in-person program as well. I know many of you do both. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or you get stuck, you could always reach out to me. Thank you so much. Have a great day.